Hello friends, welcome back to the Craft Castle. Today we're going to be working on something extremely fun. I have found this organization based out of Colorado that donates birthday party decorations and gifts to foster children. I reached out to them wanting to know if they needed any type of decorations that I could donate, and they said yes, that they were looking for some birthday pennants that they can decorate on the tops of all of the gifts that they donate to the foster kids. And I said, of course. So these are what we're making today. We're making two different types of birthday pennants, and I will show you from start to finish in Design Space how you can create your own. Now, before we get into all the design work and how to create this, I wanted to just take a second and just let you know about this organization. I absolutely love the cause of what they're doing. You know, kids these days, it's tough. It's always been tough, but I feel like the climate of what we've been through with a lot of the things that are happening within the schools and the deaths within the schools, that we need to foster a positive environment for all of our children. And why not start with foster children? The reason why they're removed from their home is probably something horrific that me, you, and normal people out there would never be able to comprehend what they're going through. Now rip them out of what they think is normal and put them into a completely different, unknown environment. It's even more chaotic for them. So what they feel is normal to them, and then getting ripped out of their homes and moved elsewhere, although it might be better for them, is still unknown and scary. So I absolutely love the fact that this organization is trying to bring a little bit of light to children, especially those that aren't from great homes, that are in stranger homes, that are just trying to make it. For me and my house, I always try and let my kids know that no matter what kid it is, whether it could be your friend or not, we just need to spread a little bit of kindness and joy, which is part of the reason why I make party decorations, because nobody can not smile when you get a super cool cake topper, banner, or anything like that. And so when I found this organization, it spoke to my heart, because I'm thinking one of these kids is going to get one of these pennants for their birthday gifts, and they're just going to feel special, but then they're going to feel even more special that they got something that they can hold on to for the rest of their life, or just remember that one time that they felt special. Especially with everything that's been going on in our schools, I think it's just so important that we take care of our future Americas. These are going to be our future presidents, senators, astronauts, nail artists, hairstylists, you name it. They are our future, and we need to start fostering a better, positive climate. So why not start now? So now that I'm going to get off my little TED Talk box, let's get to designing these. First, I would like to say that I do have this free and available in my Crooked Design Space profile. So if you don't want to design this and you just want to go right ahead and print this out, you could totally do that. I do ask, though, that you don't resale these, because these are obviously being made and donated to foster kids. But if you want to make them yourself and give them out to kids in your neighborhood, or even have them for your own kids, have at it. I totally suggest doing that. Also, it's going to be nice if you don't know how to do any of these steps. Just watch it through, because you will end up learning something, whether or not you end up making this exact pennant. But like I said, if you take my project that is in my profile, I'll link it down in the description of this video. Just please make sure you don't resell it. I very, very much ask you that we don't resell this, because it's specific for this project that I've been working on. All right, so let's get started. All you're gonna need, let me float myself up to the top, and then I'm gonna make myself smaller. Okay, so you can see that I already have two windows. I have a blank canvas in Design Space, and then I also have something pulled up on Google for sprinkle background. We might use this, we might not, but I'll just give you a kind of quick detour or tutorial on how to get backgrounds into Design Space. So we'll start back over in Design Space right here, and just open up a blank canvas. You don't have to have anything. I always just right here at this top corner, you can add in your grid marks if you wanted to. There, you can do big ones, small ones, and then one more will turn it off. I always have it turned off. It is a very rare occasion that I have that actually on there. So going into shapes right here, click the shapes, and we are just gonna add this like triangle, but it looks kind of like the triangle that we have going on here for these, right? It's like a little bit longer. We're gonna add that in there and then go back into shapes and we will do this square. Just click that. We're not gonna need that right away, but just click it. Okay, so with going back into your triangle, we want to rotate this over 270 degrees. And I'm gonna make this big. No particular sizing is needed right now. We're just gonna make it big, just because then it's easier to work with. There we go. All right, now we have the pennant. It would look just like this if we had that. We are gonna be adding it to a stick, so that means that you're gonna need a little bit of flap, right, to flap over. So how to create that? We have this one. Let's duplicate that. The duplicate one we can just drag down. This is where that box comes into play. Unlock that box, and we're gonna make this a little bit bigger than the triangle. See how it'll probably be easier if I change the color. Okay, purple. Doesn't matter what color it is. It's gonna be a little bit bigger than the triangle, right? All you wanna do is just drag this over. If your triangle is like this, let me put this to the back. Like that. Okay, so this rectangle, think of this as your flap on the back right here. This is what we're creating as the flap. So if you come over here to this little thing, we unlocked it so we can move it around in all directions. If you make it wider, everything that is inside this box right here is going to be that flap. So if you wanted to, you could create a flap that goes all the way around and wraps around. That would make, in Cricut Design Space, you only can print so much. This is going to be a print and cut file, and it's 6.75 by 9.25. So you can't do that big of that big of triangle, right? So, or it's going to be super small. Eventually, it's going to be super small. So you don't need a gigantic piece of this pennant. You just need a little bit over to where when you fold it over and we put the stick in there, it will have, like, you can't see the ugliness of the stick and the glue, right? I'll probably leave too much of a lap on this, but I just wanted to make sure that it laid down flat and nice. So I'm gonna make it a little bit smaller, I think. Remember, everything that is on the inside of this triangle right here, or inside this purple rectangle, that's gonna be your flap. That's gonna be our leftovers. So we're going to take that. I like the look of this. Again, no particular sizings, just whatever you would like it to be. Obviously, if you're using like a big popsicle stick, you're gonna need it to be bigger than the popsicle stick width. I'm using just like a wooden bamboo stick. Now between the two, unclick it and then drag your mouse and click both of those things. You're highlighting the triangle and you're highlighting that purple rectangle. And then you can right click and press slice. Slicing is just like slicing a tomato in the kitchen. You're just slicing it into pieces. So now you're left with a smaller triangle and you're left with one flap and then all these extras. We don't need these extras, so we're gonna delete them. And we're also gonna delete this little triangle. We don't need that either. Bring back up your original triangle. And then here is your flap. If you put it on like this, it will not look good. What you're going to do is with this flap that you just created, come up here to flip and flip horizontally. Like that. Now what we're going to do is just drag this over and we're going to meet it together. It needs to overlap. Like, we're going to weld it. That's what we're doing. You need to get it as close as possible that there will become a weld, because in actual welding, if you're a welder, you have to put two pieces of metal and then you're going to weld them together, right? You're going to glue them together. But if you weld them like this, they'll never be stuck together. So they do have to go together and touching. So this is kind of where you want to zoom in just a little bit, and there can be a little bit of overlap. Now doing Command A, which is select all, so you could also drag your mouse and do that as well. But I'm going to do Command A. I'm going to come up here to align and just align to the top, making sure that it is completely aligned. You don't want it misaligned here. If it's like this, obviously there's going to be a weird cut line there, and you don't want that. So we're going to undo and select all, align, and go to the top. Now right click and press weld. If you don't have a mouse, if you are on here, down at the bottom right here, has everything that you're right clicking on as well. All right, now you have your pennant. That's essentially your pennant right there. That is your working pennant. Here it is. Now, in Design Space, it's 6.75 by 9.25. So I'm gonna go over here to the unlock button, and I'm gonna do 9.25 for the width, and your height is going to be at 6.75. So when you send this over in Design Space as a print and cut file, it will be the perfect size for you when you get into Design Space. Now, in order to get the cute little backgrounds that you got right here, if you go up in here to Operation, click that, and then go over into Print and then Cut. And then here at the color, select that, and under color, click that and put pattern. Cricut already comes with like a ton of like backgrounds. You can click one, it'll take a second and it will load. Comes with a ton of backgrounds. A lot you can upload yourself. You can come over here into filter and add in filters if you're looking for a specific color. I wish they had like a search field that you could put in, like I was looking for sprinkles or something birthday related, and they don't have a search field, which is quite obnoxious. So it's like a lot of scrolling, or you can go into filter and you can put like, okay, multicolor, you know, but I really wish that they had something that you could search for the backgrounds. So if you don't want to search, because whoever does, all I did was I went into Google, I opened up just a Google page, and I put in sprinkle background. You can put it anything, birthday background, blue background, glitter background, it doesn't matter. Just put whatever you're looking for and then background. This will pop up. Click on images right here. And then if you click on, let's say this one right here at the very top, and you go over to the right, do you see this number right here? It's 800 by 533. It's not terrible. I've seen worse in pixels, but the smaller the pixel number, the worse that it is if you start to enlarge it. So realistically, what you're looking for is something that has a lot of numbers in it. So if I click this one right here and go over, this one's like 720 by 360. That's pretty good. Let's click this one. This one's 2800 by 1800. That's pretty good. I like that. I like that number. All right, so you can just choose whichever one you want. Now, when you're doing this, sometimes you click here and there's like watermarks. Clearly that's not going to work. If you see it in that picture, that means that it's going to be there forever. So you can't get rid of it. Meaning obviously you're going to need to purchase this or make an account or something. It's not going to work because there's a watermark here. So don't use those ones, but just keep clicking until you find one that speaks to you. When you do, I'm trying to find the one that I had used previously. Okay, this one worked. It's not the same one that I used for all of these, but you'll get the gist of what I'm doing. This one, wow, that one's 600. That one will not do. That one will not do. It's too low in quality. Oh, this is the one. I think this is the one I actually used. I like this one. Okay, so this is, and it has really good resolution. Really, really good. Okay, right click that and press open image in new tab. And this new tab is gonna pop up. It's gigantic, which is great. Now you're gonna wanna screenshot this. For the Macs, it's Command Shift 5, or Command Shift 4, I'm sorry. Command Shift 4, and this like little arrow aim target thing. I don't know the correct term. It'll pop up, and you just want to take the corner. Make sure you're not getting like up here. You want to only take a screenshot of what you're trying to screenshot. And we're just going to drag this over, and I am going to capture everything besides this @ symbol, because again, if it's in that print, it'll be in there when you go to print and cut later. So I'm just going to make a huge box, and I'm going to let go, and there is my screenshot right here. In Design Space, click back into Design Space, and you're going to go into Upload, and I want to make sure I don't lose that. Then go over into Pattern Fill and Upload Pattern. Take your screenshot and then just drop it in there. This is going to pop up. You can name it Pink Sprinkles if you want, or whatever that you did. And then back down here at the bottom right, you're going to press Upload. It might take a second. Sometimes when your screenshots are so big, it does take a little bit for Design Space to register that we are uploading it. Okay, when you're back here, it looks like there's nothing, right? It's disappeared. It's not here. Generally, your recent upload, like your most recent one, will come right here. It's not there. Don't worry, you did not mess up. Click on the upload button again, and that screen will go away. Let's click back on our pennant that we have. Go up here to the, what now is that color, and it will be your very first one right here. I don't know why I have all of these here, but it's going to be your very first upload that you have. Click that. And there it is. So all of your uploads, when you do pattern fills, all of your uploads will be in this little area. You just have to click your pennant and then make sure you're in pattern, and all of your uploads for your pattern fill will be here. Now, this fills the pattern. It fills that shape perfectly, right? If you click on this and you want bigger sprinkles, go in here to edit pattern, and you can drag this. You can drag it to make your sprinkles bigger. You can drag it to make your sprinkles way small. You can rotate it. You can flip it. You can do anything that you want. When you get this looking the way that it does, just click out of it, and look, there you go. I actually like that version, so we're going to keep it that way. Now, all you want to do for the next few parts, super easy. We're going into shapes, and click this line right here. And we're going to drag this over. Do you see where, let me zoom in. Do you see where there is a point right here? And then when you go down, there's a point down here. That is where it's going to fold. Right here. That is the very tip of your pennant, and that's going to fold over. This step is optional, but I do like it just because then you get like a clean, crisp edge when you are finishing this up. So I put in this, it's called a score mark. You are going to need a scoring tool. It looks like this. If you have the Explore Airs. If you have the Makers, it looks a little bit different. And that goes in your clamp B part of your machine. We are just going, all we're going to do is make sure that you line up your score line with the very tip of that point, and then come over here down at the arrow and just drag this to where it's going to line up with the other side of your tip. Now it's a little bit too big, so I'm going to make this a little bit smaller. Don't attach this yet. We're going to attach this in a second, but there it is, and this will help for the guides for the font that you're going to add in there. So there it is. Don't attach it yet. We'll do that in a second. Now, I have some lettering on mine. That's what we're going to do next. So we'll just do the text box, and we're going to do It's My, same thing that we have here. You could do it all one font if you wanted, or you don't. You can do two different. That's what I did right here. And the hardest part of any project, it doesn't matter what it is, especially for me, I spend most of my time trying to figure this portion out is choosing fonts. Choosing fonts, I swear, is the hardest part of the job of my job. So go into fonts and we'll just change the fonts. I'm going to use a Cricut font. And again, we can sit here for hours and pick fonts. It's, again, the hardest part of my job. It is so obnoxious how hard it is. And then I am also going to duplicate this just so I get another text box. You could also insert another text box too. I just always duplicate. And I'm going to select all and just put in birthday. You could, if you wanted to, like I said, you could just do one font if you wanted to. I like to mix things up a little bit and do a couple different fonts. And just click one. You can change it if you don't like it. That's the same font. I think it's close to the same font that I used before. Okay, so taking both of these, do shift and click on both and go up here to align and then center horizontally. So that means that it's completely center with the fonts, both of them. Now you want to change the font color. So go up here into the font and I'm going to do basic operation and I'm going to go into print and cut because we are going to print this eventually. And you want it to be printed all together, nice and flat, no extra gluing that's going to be needed. And then I'm going to change the color. So we'll go over here into the color picker and you can just go into advanced, click any one of these you want, or you can just choose a color that you like. I always like to do this, just throwing it around. Eventually I'll find a color that I like. I love Dusty Rose. Dusty Rose is one of my favorites. Slate Blue, Dusty Rose, two of my favorite colors. I like that. And then we'll go into birthday. If you like the way that it is, do you see how this TH, this H and this D has like a really weird hump? I don't like that. So we're going to go into advanced and ungroup the letters. And I am going to now adjust the fonts. When you click the Y and you're done with the Y, you're done adjusting the Y, press shift on your keyboard and then click the A. Now you're going to be adjusting the A and the Y. And we'll just go, I think A and the Y looks good. Click the D, holding shift down on your keyboard, and we'll slide this over just a little bit. And then we'll do H, holding down your shift button, sliding it over, holding down your shift button, doing the T. You get the picture. Hold the shift, click the R, slide. Hold the shift, click the I, slide. Never let go of that shift button when you're doing this. My finger is on that shift button. Now I'm going to click the B. We have everything that we want. So right click that and press weld. Oh, you lost some letters, huh? So if you did that, go into this undo button, little maker trick. Take that A and we're going to move it, just drag it down behind the B. And then take the D and drag it behind the B and take that A and do the same. We're going to drag it behind. Now we're going to then select, pressure shift and then clicker and select all the letters in birthday. Right click again and press weld. And now you're not missing the insides of your letters. How convenient, right? Now we're going to go back in here. We don't like this color. So we're going to go into basic operations, press print then cut. And then come up here to change the color and doing the same process like we did before. We are just going to select a different color. Oh, cute. Okay, because I did a little bit of adjusting on the fonts, I'm going to select both of the fonts again and press horizontal. And see how it's my kind of shifted a little bit? I am like a stickler for things being center. So this is important for me. Now, deselect out of that, just select click anywhere else. We are going to take our clicker and we are going to just highlight everything but that score mark. So you see how it's like I'm highlighting the pennant and the two fonts, but I'm not even touching that score mark. Don't touch the score mark. Select everything on the score mark, or everything but the score mark, and then right click and press flatten. Now you have flattened everything together. So what you're telling Cricut is that everything is flattened together. Don't cut anything else. Only cut the outside outline of what we have. Now, because your score line is behind that, just press arrange and send to the back. Now all you have to do is select both of those, so you only have two things working, right click and press attach. So now what you're telling the Cricut is not only do you want to print and cut, but you want to print and cut just the outside. You also want it to do a score line in your pennant, which is going to create that wonderful, cute little edge right here. So you can go into Make It right here, press Make It, and this box is going to print, is going to come up. This is what you need to print. If you have followed all these steps, when you go into the cut screen and you print, it is going to do only two operations. It's going to scan it, it's going to do one score line down the middle, and then it's going to cut everything else around. So everything that's inside that pink is going to stay flat. It's just going to be the outside triangle that gets cut. Okay, when you are done cutting this, meet me back here and I will go into how to assemble this and make it look super cute. Alrighty friends, you should have at least one of these pennants. Again, I've created two of these, two different types. And what you should be left with is something that looks similar to this with a small little score line right here. It is hard to see, but now all you're gonna do is just bend this a little bit and you're gonna flatten this out. That is gonna create that nice little crease that I had talked about earlier. Same thing with this one. Just bend it right at that crease. It should be really easy to fold and then flatten it out. There we go. For the rest of this project, all you're gonna need is some bamboo sticks or any type of sticks that you're using, some scissors, and then your ribbon and some tulle. I'm using some tulle as well, but just your ribbon of choice and your tulle for this and your hot glue. This is so simple. It is the most simple thing to do. Now, with your pennant, I always like to make sure that it is like upright. If you start gluing it upside down, it's gonna look really weird. So make sure that it's upright for you. Flip this over and just taking a little bit of hot glue, and don't go right in the middle of your crease, kind of go over to the left of your crease mark that you've created. And we're just gonna take a bead of glue straight down the entire way. When you get to the end, stop and just drag your hot glue gun so you don't get that like hot glue strings. Hot glue does dry quick, so we just need to work kind of quick and just place your stick in there. Now, what you can do is fold this over and see how you just hid all that ugly, all that glue, all that ugly is now hidden on there. That's exactly why we created this flap. Because if you didn't create that flap, you would see this stick and then all that ugly glue. And again, we're hiding the ugly. So now I'm going to just turn this around. I'm gonna take a little bit more glue and I'm just going to just do a little bit. You don't need a whole lot. Going through the entire thing, I did like a squiggle mark. I don't know if you can see that. Glue is hard because it's clear. And just folding this over and pushing it down. That's it. I mean, that's how simple it is to assemble that. It is so stinking easy. We'll do one more. Coming down here, stopping my squeeze and then pulling. And there's no like, you know how hot glue has strings on it? We eliminated all the strings. And we'll just put the stick. I'm choosing to put the stick pretty close to the very top of this to give it a lot of stability. And then doing another bead of glue in a zigzag motion, folding it over and press it. There we go. Now we have two pennants. So simple. Now for this portion, you know, it's again with the whole sizing of on Cricut Design Space, it's all about what you choose that you want to do. I don't like them to be extremely long, but I also don't want them to be short. So I just kind of eyeball it. Now with tulle, especially the stuff that I have, it's pretty wide and you don't need it that wide. So when I get it the length that I want, I need different scissors. These ones are better. Okay, so when I get it the length that I want, all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut this in half. That will give me 2 pieces of tulle for one pennant. Just like that, there's 2 pieces. For the blue pennant, I am choosing to do some light blue
white, and red. I wish I could find some royal blue for this, but I'm having a hard time locating royal blue ribbon. Weird. I think probably because this is close to 4th of July. So I have the 3. I'm going to do my 3 first. I'm going to just wrap this around, and I'm going to knot this one time. Pulling pretty tight. I'm only going to do it once. Pulling tight, and then taking just one of your pieces of tulle, pulling tight, and then in the opposite direction. So this tulle, when I tied it, it's going like this, right? So I'm going to now take this over, tucking down the rest of my ribbon. And see how this was going this way, right? I have this set up going in the opposite direction, and I'm gonna tie this and I'm gonna pull tight. And it kind of creates like a starburst pattern. You can lay this down flat if you wanted to, but now you have it. I just like the look of this so much more. Just like that. And then when it is unflat, when, you know, it looks like it's going in different directions, it just looks fuller to me. I have a little bit of a snag right here, so I'm just gonna cut that snag off. And there you go. We are done with that first pennant. Same thing with the second one. The second one, I am going to do a darker pink, white, and light pink. No measurements here, just eyeballing the length that you would like your ribbon to be. Going at the very top of the base of your stick and pulling tight, but only doing one knot. The reason why I don't do 2 is when you do it this way and you keep doing more and more knots, it's going to be a little bit more bulkier on top, and I like that it lays flat like that. There's not so much bulk. Same thing with this. Now that I have my piece, I'm just going to take my scissors and cut it in half. Picking up my base with, see how I have some of my ribbon in my hand and I'm putting this like up here. You're going behind everything and you're gonna tie it in the middle at an angle. There's one. Using your second one, we're gonna come over on the opposite direction. This time we're gonna drag these to the bottom and we're going behind everything. And we are going to just tie one knot, but pulling tight. And there you have it. Done. Look at that. Now you have 2 perfect pennants. Oh my goodness. I love this. All right, y'all. I sure hope that I have inspired you to create. I will see you later.